This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Full ass barn.
Yes. Crowded in here.
It is a little crowded. We have some new titles in the mix
tight.
here. Mr. Generational Wealth himself, Nemi, has joined the regular show to talk about the Super Bowl, along with Jim, Muff's forgotten friend, Alex, our medical degenerate, and Nate,
That's me.
our guru of officiating. Joining me, the original degenerates, your host of hosts, Muff. On this episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, today is Wednesday, February 11th, and Mr. Generational Wealth hopefully took advantage of that opportunity because Nemi proved himself correct in the big game. The question is, was he smart enough to take his own advice, Nemi?
Well, I did. I've had about a 3-unit bet on it, so I don't like to go broke in case I'm incorrect. I'm incorrect often. Mind you, I said generational wealth on Seahawks money line, so you would have had to lay some juice on that, but obviously they just covered the regular line, and their money line was never a problem. So I feel like I had a good feel on that game. We'll like to hear Jim's thoughts on the Patriots, figuring that they finally played somebody.
Oh,
Shut
we'll
up.
get there. Don't you
Shut
worry.
your mouth.
We are here to discuss the big game, the halftime performances, and what about that MVP vote? Whether it was the regular season or the Super Bowl this year, did the people get it right? And as always, thanks to everybody that's interacting on the socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding ding.
Get the bell
We now
on.
enter the sadness part. This is the last enthused get the bell on.
Now football season's over.
We start back at the bottom.
Back at the bottom.
Back at the bottom, but hopefully when we get back to the top in August, we'll have 100 YouTube subscribers where you, yes, you listening right now, could be the 100th subscriber and be entered into a random drawing for some prizes
Prizes.
Prizes?
from some prizes were handed out over the weekend. Muff's forgotten friend Jim got a
That's
visit
me.
from some friends that didn't forget about him.
That's true.
We
That's
took-
true.
Sorry I couldn't make it.
It's okay, Nemi. I did miss you.
We took Jim to Top Golf for his birthday. Well, it was
was
the
a
day after
great-
his birthday, but to celebrate it.
It was a great time. Fun was had. I won 2 out of 3 games.
We did.
That was nice. I swear Muff let me win, but I'm going to take my victory. Great time. Thank you all.
We had lots of appetizers.
Lots of appetizers.
Little appetizers.
And Jim almost got a prize of a new iPhone.
Oh yeah.
Launched my phone down to our first level from the second.
He did try to whack it very hard. It flipped out of his pocket.
Flipped right out of my pocket and down the net.
The worst part was when me and Nate were watching him and we thought he was going to try to grab it. And we were afraid he was going to go into the net. I was like,
I did. I was
no. Like, we let that fall, not you.
That was bad.
We can
I mean,
replace
have you
the
ever
phone.
seen that? Somebody go into the net at Top Golf?
I've seen videos of it. I've never seen it happen in person.
Oh,
Mind you, I don't think I go a ton. I've probably been at Top Golf like 3-4 times.
Okay. Well, we almost saw it. It was very close. But Jim did go retrieve it and came back with a golf ball.
Yeah, that's it. Hit this Muff.
So we had that. So Jim's birthday over the weekend, and Alex's birthday is tomorrow, everybody. Thursday.
Body
Have-
foolish bodies.
Early birthday to Alex. Alex
Thank
is
you.
spending birthday eve in his office.
I am spending birthday eve in my
Because
office.
workers
so
work.
Workers do work.
Well, workers also take weeks off of work.
Workers also get deathly ill and miss 5 days of work and must pay for their.
Hey, workers work.
Thank you.
Alright.
I'll take it.
There it is. All right. That brings us into the leadoffs. We are going to talk about something before the big game. That's going to be a quick little discussion on the Olympics.
The games.
This is Olympic Talk with Jim, Muff, Nate, and me and Alex.
Jim, Muff, Nate, and Alex. You said me and Alex. I don't know if that
No, I
works
said
out.
not me.
Demi,
Oh, Nemi. Okay. All right.
don't get the intro.
Olympic talk. We have 3 bullet points here. We'll see what we get to with this. We're going to start with Lindsey Vonn. Big oops. Big woof.
Big
Big
oops.
injury. U.S. still wins the event, but Lindsey Vonn does not win the day. What was do you remember the injury specifically, Alex?
It was some kind of complex tibial fracture, I believe.
She has a giant X fix on right now, which is that big external fixator cage. Do you guys see the picture?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like pins are go through your skin into the bone. And then you put like basically it's like an erector set that holds your bones in place while they start to heal. Once the swelling goes down, then they can go in and put actual like plates and screws to fix things. So it looks kind of bad.
Indeed, it does look kind of bad. So I had a little bit of a disagreement, agree to disagree situation with Baltimore Guru Keefe on this. Interested to hear everyone else's takes. Should Lindsey Vonn have even been racing? Not physically, but because she was stealing a spot from another person.
She had to qualify.
Okay. So Jim seems to be on the camp of it's okay.
I don't understand the stealing part. I don't know that I'm okay. Like,
Given her
explain that.
ACL rupture, should she have bowed out at that
But
point?
nobody could have come in, right? Was there alternates?
I think there's always alternates.
I'm sure there's somebody in the world that would take the Olympic spot.
But I don't think that's how that works. If there's an alternate in the wings, yes, she should have bowed out. I agree with that stance.
Okay.
If there's no alternate, piss off. Like, she should have bowed out.
Okay. I don't know if you ever made a statement on this one in the group chat where this was going down.
Oh, yeah, no, I was letting him do what he was doing. I disagreed, but I just felt like jumping in would have been bad. I think she qualified with her injury, so she should ski with her injury. Or I shouldn't say that. She was her trial times and her pre-run times were high enough that I feel like she proved that she could compete. I think if you wouldn't have seen her do some runs after the injury, then I could see where you'd be like, well, didn't know what she was going to do, but like we kind of did.
Okay. Nate?
I'm on the same boat as Jim here.
Okay. If there was an alternate, she should have relinquished her spot.
Yeah, I mean, you've been there, you've done that. I get it. Like Alex said, like you qualify with your injury and all your good times and whatnot. But if it's me, like in the back of my mind, I know I'm not 100%. And if I'm not 100%, there's no way I'm going to win an Olympic gold medal or anything. So,
all right, Demi?
Oh, yeah, I have to say, if there's an alternate, there needed to be an alternate. But if not, then, I mean, when you were watching her, she didn't seem like she was injured. I get like, not that I can tell, not that I know how to judge downhill skiing, but it didn't look like she was going slow or anything. So I don't know.
All right. I was of the opinion that she should not relinquish the spot, even if there was an alternate. She was number one in the world coming in. Yes, she had the ruptured ACL, but her practice runs proved that she belonged. She was top 3 in her practice run times.
That was the word I was looking for, practice run. I couldn't recall.
So for that reason, I think yes. Now, when you get to the competition, everyone's pushing it just a little bit harder. And we saw the results of that in this situation. Jake Paul's fiance, I don't remember her name, won gold, brought him and her to tears.
Do you think his tears were real?
yeah, probably because he realized he'll never be as good at what he does compared to her.
I was just going to say the only reason they would be real is he's like, darn it, now she's in the spotlight.
So he had to steal it away. All right. And last, certainly not least, we had a gentleman on the podium apologize for cheating on his wife to the world.
Girlfriend of 6 months.
That was his girlfriend,
but
correct.
also loved his life.
I did not see that.
Jim, you saw this. What were your thoughts on this whole situation?
Wild timing. Like, very wild timing. I don't know that I respect him for it.
So I will share that I read something on this, and he had divulged this to her previously, like within the past few weeks.
Yeah, I think that was it. And I think she was supposed to be there with him in it was like a week before, and she wasn't there because he cheated on her. But I wonder if he thought if I make this grand enough of a gesture, she'll realize how serious I am and how sorry I am and come back. Would you take him back?
I don't know if somebody put my business out there for the world in the Olympics that would help any situation if I was on the other side of that.
I agree, probably, but I think I'd be like, this is getting creepy. We've been dating for 6 months.
All right. Any other Olympic talk? Is that a no? Good. Into the big game. As we had Mr. Generational Wealth himself call it, as the Seahawks take down the Patriots 29-13. Game that was never truly in any doubt. Seahawks defense dominates and almost won the game only off the leg of Jason Myers. Before we get in, go ahead, Nemi.
I was going to say, before we get in, well, I guess you go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to know, had not thought about this going into this game, but for our Ohio State fans, was there any lingering hate towards Mike McDonald because he was once a Michigan man and may have been in a room with Connor Stallions prior to cheating, scandal breaking.
For
I
me,
mean, I
no.
didn't think about it till you brought it up.
Yeah, for me, no.
This was 2021, so this is before like the run really went down.
I mean, I didn't think about it till you brought it up. So the
I'm in
answer
the
is
same
no.
boat. I don't think that never crossed my mind until you just brought it up. So
Okay, I just wanted to put it out there that you may have more of a reason, in hindsight, to really cheer for the Patriots, Jim, given that information. To the game though itself, the Patriots offensive line tremendously overmatched. Four got home many times. Will Campbell with his T-Rex arms allowed 14 quarterback pressures throughout the game, all time bad. And then he declined to speak to the media afterwards. This led
and
to
then
Drake.
said he was hurt. And then he said he was hurt.
Oh, I did not see that.
You did it? Let me see what he said his
Sorry.
injury was.
So that led obviously to Drake May running for his life for most of the game, and may have been further declaration, confirmation, and support that Matthew Stafford was the most deserving of the MVP, given that the Rams battled the Seahawks this year. 2 good games. They played twice, conference championship and one other time. Sound about right?
Sorry, I was going to sneeze again. Yeah, it does sound right. I think I agree with you. I think that solidified me. Like, I was already leaning on Matt Stafford for the MVP this year, but that to me sealed the deal. His performance in the Super Bowl.
That made you find anything there, Will Campbell?
Well, Campbell said he tore a ligament in his knee this season and he was not 100% for the playoffs, but that is not an excuse.
Good. Glad we bring it up then.
Thank
Kenneth
you.
Walker III earns the MVP honors, 161 rushing and receiving yards. The first running back to win the award in 28 years. Do we think he was the most deserving candidate? Nate?
Stats wise, yes. I would say you could easily give it to anybody on the D line for the Seahawks or anybody on the offensive line for the Seahawks, but they're not going to get the love. So yeah, it was definitely deserving.
All right. Nemi?
What about Jason Myers? That would have been my argument. But basically, when the game mattered most, when it was the closest it could be, he scored all the points. Mind you, it got a little out of hand at the end. So I think there's an argument made that the kicker could have won, but I don't know if a kicker has ever won a Super Bowl MVP or if they ever will.
I think the answer is no and no. Jim? Kenneth Walker III? He the man?
Yeah, I think overall that's who I would have landed with if I was asked. Like, yeah.
Alex?
I think when you're going with the typical what the award is, I guess Kenneth Walker, yeah. But I also agree with what Nate said and Nevi said. Those are my two things. I would have actually enjoyed seeing somehow someone from the defense getting picked or the kicker, because this is like the perfect situation to break the mold and give it to a player who is actually most valuable, because Jason Myers kicked the most field goals in Super Bowl history in a game. That's clutch kicking to make 5 field goals under that pressure. Had the most points out of everyone in the game. So I would have made the argument to do it. I mean, when else are you ever going to have that opportunity to give it to a kicker?
I agree. If not Kenneth Walker III, I would have gone with Jason Myers. There was a time I know in the group chat that I was touting that a defensive player from the Seahawks was going to walk away with it, but that exited the conversation once points started to be scored, not off kickers' legs. So, yeah. Sam Darnold's career, full circle. He is the first USC quarterback selected in the draft out of 26, which is the most of any college, to start a Super Bowl and win it. And for those that haven't been paying attention, he apparently lost money by playing in and winning the Super Bowl due to, I think they're called duty days. When you perform in Florida for so many days throughout the year, you are taxed based on your base salary and not the money that you earn at that location. So he was down $70,000 as a result of the days he spent in California and played this past week.
That's just wild to me. And like the next Super Bowl is in California. So do people be like, well, I'm not going out there to play lose money? That's a overstatement based on what he makes and what the glory of what a Super Bowl brings you. But still, the hell.
I'm sure if you ask him, he's fine with this trade off.
Yeah, that's. I mean, realistically, I know it's worth it, but like at the same time, you're like, it's a dump.
We had the JSN concussion, who then later came back into the game at a time that it wasn't really in doubt in my mind. So do we think he should even have attempted to come back if that was truly the reason that was going on there? Jim, how you feel about JSN coming back? It's good, bad, indifferent?
I don't think it was a concussion. I think it was a concussion check that they didn't want him out on the field for that. I think they wanted to take the hype away from that. And I think it was more, honestly, I think it was more a case of the wrong shoes. I think he got a blister.
It did look like he was like grabbing his, or he had like a leg problem, and then all of a sudden they said it was a concussion. So I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, they showed a
Weird injury.
replay where he landed on the back of his head pretty good.
And I think he got jumbled. I think they checked him for that. I think there was a couple plays before where they like put a something on his heel. I think he wore himself down on the heel because he was in the wrong shoes or something was wrong with his shoes. And the next play, like 3 plays later, he bounced his head off the ground.
Why would no one just say he had to change his shoes then?
I think they didn't want to look silly, and I think they wanted to make sure that, like, I think they just took the story away.
Yeah, it was a weird injury. He grabbed his leg, and then they said a concussion. I was like, what the hell's going on? But he was out for about a quarter,
I'm a firm
right?
believer that they take some of these guys out in college and pros to the back to make the story go away.
Right. But he did come back. Did not hit his props. There were a lot of people that I think had parlays riding on some JSN props.
Yep.
In this meeting, along with across the world. So that didn't pan out, unfortunately, for many people. So the books were winners. In fact, the books were winners throughout the season, but the people got back in this one because I think it ended up with about 65 to 70% of the money in bets were on the Seahawks in this game. So the sports books may have got the betters throughout the season, but they hit back at least with the spread and money line picks in this game alone. But don't worry, everybody. I'm sure all the parlays just put the money right back into the sports books' hands.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they got at least like $13 off me just in the Super Bowl.
Speaking of betting the Super Bowl, we had our 100 theoretical dollar bet. Jim and Alex went for broke and went broke. I think I took a little bit more traditional strategy and ended up the winner. I was up about $11 on my $100 theoretical bets. Nemi, non-participant, along with Nate.
I was fighting. I think I had like strep throat or something. I was pretty messed up for like 4 days. So yeah, I was a little MIA. Sorry about that.
No judgment.
I got like sinus stuff in my nose. So this is a rough end of the winter. I haven't been sick all winter. Now I got something twice in 2 weeks. So what the hell?
What the hell? All right, anything else on the game before we get into some halftime stuff?
I think it was one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever watched.
Yeah, it was boring. I mean, I don't know.
It felt like, first of all, the quarterback play on both ends was really bad. It was almost like the other team was daring the quarterback to make a mistake, and it was like, who's going to be the first one to fumble 6 or throw pick 6 and completely like flip the game? And neither of them did for a while. Like kind of for a while, they were just kind of like stalemating, running the ball and just punting it, and hoping that the other quarterback made the mistake. And yeah, it was pretty boring to watch, honestly.
Yeah, definitely not the most entertaining. I'll give it 100% that. As far as the gameplay, we've come to that time, Jim. Are we willing to admit that maybe they weren't the team that we hoped they would be, or did they just come up against a superior opponent in this matchup?
I would question, and this was debated at work, I would question, maybe it was debated with you guys, Vrabel's willingness to adjust. He stayed with it too long and didn't risk it for the biscuit when I think he should have. That offensive line needs a shit ton of work, but I don't think that they weren't worthy of their position there. I don't like that take.
Nemi, how do you feel being proven right?
I will, yeah, I'm not going to brag because it's not the time or place for that, but I will say they were definitely overmatched. And Seattle, everyone said the Texans' defense was the best in the league. Maybe Seattle's actually was, but both of them were very, very good defenses. And Drake May, some people are saying he was also hurt. I don't know, but he looked like a deer in headlights through 3 quarters of that game.
Yeah, I think he was exposed. I contend that maybe offensively the league just wasn't that good this year.
Yeah. They say a lot of it's due to like they play that triple high safety or whatever, and just so that the defenses just kind of dominate these games a lot of the time. So, and again, these playoffs, they didn't have Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Burrow. They didn't have those guys. So these teams with these superior defenses just pretty much dominated. Like, I don't know. If Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, I think Denver's in the Super Bowl for sure. So, I don't know.
Any thoughts on that? The Patriots' demise in this game or the Seahawks surgeons.
I think the Patriots youth definitely showed there. I mean, like we said, Drake May was running for his life. Will Campbell didn't have a great game, and I didn't realize they were also starting a rookie at left guard too.
That's it. So we will see. I think the Seahawks are the odds-on favorite. I think it's at like plus 900 or plus 950 right now to repeat. Oddly enough, the Bears were like at plus 20 something hundred. Right, I would have expected them to be a little bit more in the plus 15 or something in that range. So if you're looking for some value, really early into the offseason, maybe latch onto the Bears as the Super Bowl winner and see if that appreciates in value over time. So, all right, out of the game and into halftime. Raise your hands if you watched Bad Bunny.
That's 5 of us.
There it is. We got the viewership. Got the viewership up. So I'll start with Jim because I know he has some thoughts on this. I think they are similar to mine. So Jim, thoughts on
Do
the
they?
bad? I think they're
How do you
similar
know I have thoughts on this?
because you discussed them a little bit.
Okay. I remember
So-
discussing them with you. I thought the halftime show was musically very. This is how do I phrase this? From a production standpoint, very well done. Musicality wise, I thought was good. Performance wise, I thought was good. If I spoke Spanish, I would think it was fucking fantastic.
But you don't.
But I don't. I
That was
thought
my
the,
problem with it.
the moment with Lady Gaga was Latin Lady Gaga is fantastic. She could put out a Latin album and I'd be all over it.
Latin Lady Gaga.
I mean, that's fantastic. The cameos were cool. I'm not going to get in the camp of everybody else that was like, he don't speak our language. I ain't going to do that. Okay.
I think the NFL knew that he didn't speak English when they booked it.
Whoa. Now you're going to get me into a whole nother argument. I'm just going to take my take on the first take. I thought it was great. Good performance. Now, to Nemi's point, I think it's funny, maybe ironic, that we announced that we're expanding to 9 international games, and then we put on this type of performance. Duh. Wonder why we did this.
Yeah.
I want to take you through that right there, Jim. The owners talking to Roger Goodell, and I want you to pretend that I'm Jerry Jones in this owners meeting. Now, Roger, you plan to tell me this fella right here, Bad Bunny, he don't speak English? He doesn't. His songs aren't English. You mean to tell me that's who we're going to put at the Super Bowl? Yes,
But
Jerry.
he's American.
That's exactly what we're going to do,
American.
Jerry. We're going to put him as the halftime performer in the Super Bowl. All right. You haven't stated wrong many times, Roger, but we need to know, like, what's the reason here? Jerry, we got all these games. They're going to go international. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And the bottom line, it's going to go up. Wait, Roger. Wait, 1 second here. You tell me we put this fella at the Super Bowl halftime show, and that bottom line is going to go up. Value of my team's going to go up, and you're prepared to continue to be the shield for us and take all the bullets for all the people that don't like it. Yes, Jerry, that's what I'm prepared to do. Roger, goddammit, tell me where to sign because that money's going to come in.
Yep.
True.
Yep. That's right.
And that is exactly how I envision that conversation going with Jerry and other owners.
Fair.
Absolutely.
Roger, pick up your shield. Keep doing the good work.
You just keep taking them bullets, brother.
But yeah, no, I think I agree very much with Jim. Production to the viewers on television, very good.
Yes.
I do not know how that translated to the people in the stadium.
Yeah. But I also think that's Super Bowl. Like the rap throwback, like 50 Cent hanging upside down inside of a box. If I'm in the nosebleeds, I don't know who the hell's in that box or if he's upside down.
Yes. We've got outside of the stadium concert performances at halftime, it is now the production value.
Oh, for sure.
And I point only to who was the guy that performed halftime on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit? Jack White?
Yeah.
Jack Harlow. That was an all-time terrible performance. Not only, I think, for the people in the stadium, but potentially also for us watching. That it is all about the production value. To that end, how about all the people that were dressed up as trees?
Loved every part of that.
They made
That's
what they make like $1,200 or something. Someone said I would dress up as a tree for 8 days. I'll dress up as a tree for 8 days for $1,200.
Yeah, where do you sign up for that?
And to say you were a tree in the Super Bowl.
Do you get expenses paid too, or is it just straight $1,200? You got to book your own hotel and shit, or like?
It might be local people. Maybe they don't even need that.
I don't know where the recruiting came from to get the $1,200. It could have just been like a local pan around and figure it out. So we had that. We had the cameos. We had what I thought was too short lived of a guest spot for Gasolina on the mic.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
too
agree.
short.
Always should have been more Gasolina.
We needed more Gasolina in there. I saw it very quickly that Jessica Alba was in the background on the porch.
Of course you did, you dog.
Saw it very quickly. Honey was there. Don't worry about it.
That's right.
So we had that going on. You had what baseball player was in there, Nate? Did you see?
Acuna.
Acuna was in there. You had I don't think they were married live on TV, but I think it was a recreation of a wedding that had happened recently.
I heard
I
that
heard
was
it
a
was
live
legit
marriage.
then.
Or legit live.
Legit
Yes,
live.
I heard it was
the
legit live too. I
story
heard
was
the,
that they had
the
extra
story I
plane
heard.
invitations, and they had mailed one to Bad Bunny. Like, you hear all these people say, "Oh, we're gonna mail one to this company, that company." He's like, "Oh, well, I can't make it, but why don't you come get married at my halftime show?"
Yeah.
That's what I heard too.
So that's cool. Trying to think what else. Pardon my take. Those guys were talking about how Bad Bunny had the football and he held it throughout the entire performance. That he accumulated more yards than the Patriots offense did in the first
Yeah.
I saw
half
that.
at halftime.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. Anything else we're missing from that? Any other thoughts on the halftime show, Alex?
No, I like some of the dancers were very good, very talented.
Very talented.
Okay, Alex.
So great production value, great choreography.
Cinematography.
Enjoyed it. Yeah, cinematography was good. I
Great
liked it. Angles. Yep, loved it. Very good.
Demi, thoughts on this halftime show?
I didn't like that. Even my daughter was like, "Where's a Bad Bunny? I don't see where a Bad Bunny is." And I was like, "No, that's like the name of the singer." And she was like all confused. Plus, he wasn't speaking English, so I had to do some explaining about that. But I thought it was fine. Choreographed, I guess, but I didn't like that I couldn't like jam to the music, I guess. But
Well, you're supposed to move your hips, Whitey.
what's that?
You're supposed to move your hips, Whitey.
I educated them. We're good.
Yeah,
Sound
Shakira,
like-
Shakira.
Yeah, you sound like Chubbs out there telling Happy Gilmore how to golf, Jim. It's all in the hips. It's all
And so
in
did
the
anyone
hips.
turn on the other one?
No.
Negative. I know you did, Nemi, for a short period of time.
I did for like 5 minutes, and then I think I heard some like Jason Aldean song being covered by like Brantley Gilbert, and then I just like turned it off. And I was like,
That's what irritates me. Why are we playing? Why did they? Never mind. We're not getting into the negatives. We're just focusing on the positives.
On the positives.
I don't understand why Brantley Gilbert was covering a Jason Aldean song, but I was just like, well, okay, whatever.
Kid Rock had to come out and say he wasn't lip syncing.
But then he described it by lip sync. Like he said, described lip syncing and then said that's what he was doing. He wasn't lip syncing. It's like, what?
I will
That
say,
is.
I did see "Ba with the Ball." That's a song I haven't heard in a long ass time. So, and then that was the end of that. I was like, this thing sucks. And then by the time that one actually went like a lot longer, by the way, like the Bad Bunny one was over, and this other one was like going for like 10 more
Because
minutes.
there was a delay in it starting.
Yeah,
And they didn't have to
I'm
clear
sorry,
a
but
football
there's no
field and play a
Joe
second
C.
half.
There's no Joe
I also
C.
saw there was
had-
like 12 people watching it or whatever they held that. There was like no one there.
Yeah.
It was a straight digital endeavor, it seemed.
Yep.
Not I didn't watch it, but that's what it seemed, everything I saw. Nemi, I will let you know that I once saw Kid Rock in concert. Brantley Gilbert opened for Kid Rock in concert. And the last thing I recall from Kid Rock's performance happened within the first minute. And that is when he said, "My name is Kid Rock." And see you tomorrow. It's about what happened to me in that particular situation. So
Worse than me. That's the same exact thing. It's the only concert in my life that I blacked out.
you had beer showers, and the beer showers turned into, hangover mornings.
I
Did you get
regret that
concussed in a
life
mosh pit
decision.
or something?
Oh, no, Nemi. There's no concussion involved. That would be a better story than what went down.
It was terrible.
Glad somebody else shared that experience with me, even if it wasn't the same date.
I regret that decision.
I regret nothing. The NFL coaching carousel
There's more?
is finally concluded, Jim,
Oh, okay.
because now the Raiders officially hired former Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak, coming off his Super Bowl win. Your concession prize there is, buddy, figure out what you're going to do at quarterback and with the rest of the roster.
Have fun.
So Have a great day. Do we have any other concluding thoughts for the NFL season? How would we rate the NFL season on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's start with Nemi.
Just the NFL. I'll miss it. Just the NFL in general. Sundays with the NFL is just good vibes and stuff. So I'll rate it. I would say the playoffs were a little boring. Again, maybe because the stars weren't, at quarterback and whatnot. But it was a little bit different. So I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It was good to see some new teams, new coaches, new players winning, as opposed to the same old Patrick Mahomes bull crap all the time. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
All right, Nate.
I am also going to agree with everything Nemi just said because he took the words out of my freaking mouth. Way to go.
It's 7.5 out of 10, Nate.
Yeah.
All right, Alex.
I'm going 8 out of 10. I liked that there was a little bit more parity, and we got to have some stories of like teams that were good for the first time in a while. But then some teams that I liked didn't do as well, so that took it down a couple notches. But overall, good season.
All right, Jim.
Football's always good.
I'm with Nemi on a 7.
Similar reasons.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go with an 8.5. Right, we had the Steelers win the division. Obviously, there was nothing that happened in the playoffs, but got to celebrate that. Got to celebrate my man Aaron Rodgers playing in Pittsburgh, playing in the black and gold.
I thought we were going to get a whole episode without that shit.
Oh, never. Week to week, we had some teams that surged. Right, you had the Jaguars make a surge, the Patriots make a surge, and then I'll make it all the way to the Super Bowl. We had an older quarterback get the MVP, and I think there were a lot of injuries that showcased the depth that these rosters had to have in order to compete throughout the entire season. So for me, I give it 8.5 out of 10. NFL, just find a way to keep giving me more.
And Shedeur made the Pro Bowl.
Shedeur!
That might be actually. I said an 8. That might have knocked it down to a 7.9.
In fact, I mean, the Browns had 2 quarterbacks make it to the Pro Bowl, Nemi.
Yeah, Flacco too. What a joke that thing is.
Just let everyone play. Just if you want to play in the Pro Bowl, get to play in the Pro Bowl.
There we go. So into the final pieces here of NFL talk, we had the Hall of Fame inductees announced. We had Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Drew Brees, Roger Craig, Adam Vinatieri. Oh my, who was not there? Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
Brady wasn't eligible this year. Let's get that straight.
He was not?
No, he was not eligible this year.
When is he eligible?
I think it's 2028.
2 years?
Yeah,
2020.
class
Bill
of
Belichick
28.
didn't get in. Yeah, sorry, Bill Belichick didn't get in. Robert Kraft was up for something as well. Neither of them make an entry into the Hall of Fame. Philip Rivers, obviously not eligible for many years now, would have been eligible this year. Do we think this is a good representation of the NFL with this class?
Minus leading Bill Belichick out. I don't even like him that much, but I disagree with that. He deserved to be in.
You have strong thoughts, Bill Belichick here.
Yeah, how you don't put him in, there should never be any coach first-year ballot eligible that ever gets in.
Amen.
Ever at this point. Not even a whiff. We even start talking about it at this point. When Sean McVay one day becomes eligible, Mike Tomlin someday becomes eligible, Bruce Arians becomes eligible, any of these coaches that have had any success in the recent past, if they even start to get votes, then we need to start calling everybody to the floor and figuring this out.
I have a question. Of the people that were inducted in the Hall of Fame, which one is the most surprising?
In general or players?
We'll
Start
go
with
players. We'll go players.
I have to look and see who was a finalist that didn't get in. The one that comes to my mind first off, because he's been a finalist forever, is Reggie Wayne still is not in, and neither is Torrey Holt.
I was surprised Kuechly got in. I know he's had to retire because he had concussions and stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of good like linebackers. Just that I don't know. I was surprised that Kuechly got in, but first time, right? First ballot, right?
Yeah, he was
him and Larry.
It's wild.
Larry makes sense. I don't think there's
Larry
much
makes
debate there. Yeah, Drew's first.
I think him and Larry can't. Like, those deserve to be first ballot. I think Kuechly deserved to get in eventually, but first ballot seems a little early.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
Roger
Torrey
Craig, obviously, the elder statements.
The other big name guy that I see here that didn't get in that people probably could complain about is Eli Manning.
Okay.
He's another one I would say deserves to be in, but I don't know about first.
Yeah, we'll see there. We'll see. So, obviously, more to come in leading up to start of next year's season with the Hall of Fame inductees. More to come there. The Player of the Year honors. We've already stated Matthew Stafford was the MVP. Obviously, there was a person who voted for Justin Herbert, and Drake
think he had a
May
good
was
season.
one vote behind Matthew Stafford. In what world can we justify Justin Herbert? I think this gentleman attempted to by saying the team was dog shit, and the fact that they got to where they were proves that he was the most valuable player, because without him, they would have been 0 in the season. But can't we make that case every year for some middling teams that have a one-star player?
I feel like him
Yeah,
and
I
a
just don't-
buddies that were voters punked this guy.
In what way, Nate?
They probably said, what about Justin Herbert or whatever? And he's probably like, oh, yeah, we should give to this guy or whatever. Make a statement, whatever. And everybody else is like, nah, fuck that guy. We're going to make him look like an ass.
And they did. JSN, Offensive Player of the Year. Jim,
deserving.
Nemi, pretty excited about that.
I think it's deserving for sure. He pretty much has the best hands in the game. Doesn't drop any balls, and the Seahawks on offense really just weren't anything insane this year, and they made all the way to the Super Bowl, and it was basically on his back. His quarterback was freaking Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold's nothing to write home about. So I think
he's a Super Bowl
is
champion.
much deserving of Player of the Year. Yeah, on the defensive, on the defense, but yeah, sure. And Kenneth Walker and the defense, but anyway.
So is Brad Johnson, Nate.
I know.
Yeah, he's a good game manager, and he protected the ball. So
I know that you know.
I know. I still got that net or that streak on it.
JSN, I think, very deserving in this case. I think there's some fans in Minnesota that may argue that Sam Darnold's not good enough, though, Demi. I feel like they think they may have been able to do a little bit better this year if he was still under center. We get to our first of two Browns players recognized in the Player of the Year honors. Myles Garrett gets Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think this was really up for much debate after he set the single season sack record. No, not for debate, Jim?
Not for debate.
Nemi, proud of the Browns?
Pretty embarrassing that you can win 2 Player of the Year honors when they win 6 games and get your coach fired, who then gets hired by another team right after he got fired. I don't know, just some wild stuff. I don't really have any other thoughts besides that. Must be the owners. Must be the owners that suck.
Yeah, I think so. It's 2 Defensive Player of the Year honors, 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks.
Yeah.
6-win season.
And no wins.
We have Ted McMillan win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think I don't think there was really much competition for that one. I think he was far and away the winner there. Carson Schwarzenegger wins Defensive Rookie of the Year, the second Browns player to receive a defensive honor.
I feel like there could have been an argument that Offensive Rookie of the Year, if he didn't get hurt, could have been Quinshon Judkins. If he didn't get hurt, we could have had 3 Browns on the podium.
That would have been wild.
Tell me he couldn't have. I mean, he was playing every.
I'm not even disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, that have 3 Browns and such a shitty team.
Yeah, it's insane. Honestly, that doesn't even make any sense. No receivers, but anyway,
no quarterbacks.
2 great quarterbacks, just didn't have anybody to throw to.
There we go.
Jet Tooney was the Protector of the Year. Was this the second year for this award? Does that sound right? I don't think it's any more than 2 years old.
I'm not too familiar with that guy.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey wins Comeback Player of the Year. He was, I think, the first player to ever be in the running for MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and for Comeback Player of the Year all in the same year.
Is that good?
I don't see him for I think Comeback Player of the Year is perfect for him. I think the other 2 are a little much.
I agree, but he was the first one that made it to the finalists for each of those.
Yeah.
So every other 49er got hurt except for him this year. What a weird.
Mm-hmm. And the Coach of the Year, Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel.
All deserved.
Yeah, I think they did pretty well with the NFL honors this year. Honestly, I don't have much beef with
got it on the nose.
There wasn't a lot of, aside from the guy that voted for Justin Herbert, I didn't really hear much chatter outside of that. All right, brings us into some college football talk. First, North Dakota State agreed to join the Mountain West Conference in football only, starting in the 2026 season. They're expecting to pay about $12 million to join the league and $5 million to the NCAA to transition to the FS. Just a matter of time before this happened, and this is a good league for them to get into.
I mean, I think you're going to have schools like this join in.
I think that's the point of it. They've proven themselves year after year after year. So the step up makes sense to me.
How about the $5 million of the NCAA?
Dumb.
That's dumb. Yeah, that's BS. That's just money grab.
I would really, and I've yet to do any hard research on this and look into it, but I'm wondering what the justification is for that. Like, what are we paying the NCAA to make this transition whenever it's our facilities that have to be upgraded? We have to meet all of these standards, and the league itself, the conference itself, is the one that has the media rights deal.
I don't understand why the NCAA should be paying them. I don't understand.
So we've come to an impasse. If anything, the college football playoff should get money because of the money that they can get from the college football playoff, all said and done. But here we are. North Dakota State is in the Mountain West. Here we go. All right, Jim, was this you?
This
Charlie
is me.
Baker?
In a letter to the NCAA President Charlie Baker, the Big Ten Conference Student Athlete Issue Commission called for a continued push or outright ban of prop bets on individual college athletes to reduce harassment and protect mental health and game integrity.
It's already a thing in Ohio, so it doesn't affect me.
Yep.
Mind you, on FanDuel, you can do like team rushing yards, team passing yards, team receiving yards now. So they brought back a little bit of the props, but yeah, individual players in Ohio is a no-no. Mr. DeWine said no.
Mr. DeWine did say no. So the Big Ten, which would span how many states? 6? You have New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
More than 6, right?
It's got to be more. Oregon, California now, Washington.
Okay.
So it's got to be like 10.
Three on the West Coast, Illinois,
Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania,
New Jersey,
Michigan, Minnesota, Iowa.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. We're at
14. Or, well, yeah, 18 members in 14 states.
So there's the biggest issue to hurdle there, is that you're having a conference try to put an edict down to the states to say, no, only for our conference. Now, I agree with the reasons, Jim. I'm all on board with the justification. I just think they're punching a little bit above their weight to make something like this actually go down.
I mean, Ohio did it, and that's a conservative red state. I don't think it takes much.
I think DeWine's DeWine likes to...
DeWine didn't do it by himself.
I mean, he was the leading driver of it. He proposed the bill and everything. Just seems like I just don't understand why you're going to legalize gambling and then you're going to reel it back in. Like, just don't do it. I don't really know.
Well, Demi, what about NIL?
It's a conservative mindset.
Well, that's not...
But that's the next step, is reeling it in. So we'll see. Jim, I believe this is you as well.
This is... I could go into this for a long time. So this is more of a hey, dig into this, listener and fellow podcaster. Former Nebraska athletic director Bill Moose wrote in a book released this week that Scott Frost was not his first choice. He actually wanted Chip Kelly back in 2017. That he was ordered to go under an evaluation for alcoholism, and that he looked into the possibility of Nebraska leaving the Big Ten and returning to the Big 12, and that was during COVID.
This is Moose.
This is
the
Moose.
one that was ordered to undergo this evaluation.
Yeah. So that's the hey, attention grabbing. And I was like, oh, I'll read into this. I honestly think if you're a fan of moments in college football and you're you want to see the behind the scenes, I would at least dig into this article on ESPN, or obviously you'll be able to pick it up in any news outlet, because the story that he's telling, let's just take the Scott Frost thing. He essentially says that he went to go meet with Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly seemed to be very interested. He flies back, and the board or the regents, I don't understand how Nebraska splits up the leadership there, did not give him good vibes. So he settles on Scott Frost, and then Chip Kelly goes to UCLA. And then the board was like, why did you do that? And he was like, well, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have a coach. And so there's those type of exchanges in this article where well, we thought about going and with Ohio State when they wanted to leave for COVID. And there's a lot of interest in joining the Big 12. Okay. But you didn't. The way that he phrases the background noise of his tenure, very interesting. So that's why I put that in there. If you want to know the inner workings of that man and the time in college football, dig into it.
Pick up that book.
Yeah.
Do we know what the book's called? Now I'm curious.
I do. I did. It's gone now.
All right. Bill Moose's book, Look it up. Give it
Or
a
at least read
give
the
it a-
article. The article was fascinating.
All right. The schedule has come out for next year's college football playoff, which will not include a New Year's Eve game.
No New Year's game.
We will have New Year's Eve, one game in the quarterfinals, December 30th, and 3 games on New Year's Day.
I like that.
I think I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I can get on board. New Year's Eve, a game. That's a good primer for your days ahead. Semifinals will be January 14th and 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And
Too long.
the championship, I assumed, I didn't see this in the graphic that I think you shared, Jim. I'm assuming the championship is the 25th, which is like the 2 Mondays after the semifinals.
Yeah,
Too long.
that I agree with as well.
Yeah. Right. And we've talked
Can't
about
be-
this too. There's too much time
can't
in
be
between the
playing-
end of
We're playing college football to the end of January.
But I contend that they're just priming us for the expansion.
Expansion of what?
the playoffs.
Playoffs.
To what?
12 or 16.
I don't think it's needed, but definitely not 16.
It's not needed for what? For us, the viewer? Yeah, you're right.
It's
To
not
prove
needed
what-
to find the best team in college football. You don't need 16
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But you know what it is needed for?
ratings and money.
Ratings and money.
Wait, did Jerry Jones just end up in the college football playoff boardroom?
Yeah.
He should.
They do have an innate problem, and that's the bowl. The other bowls don't mean shit. And the more you could take those sponsors in those bullshit bowls and put them on these, you're solving that problem.
Yes, 100%. And the closer we get to the end of January, guess what we also get closer to?
Super Bowl playoffs.
The NFL playoffs. So it's almost like it's playoff to playoff. So
Speaking of bowl games, there's the Detroit Bowl. I don't know if it's in the notes in here anywhere, but the Detroit Bowl ended after 29 years. So I think all of them are just going to go.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I think
fade
you're gonna.
away.
That's the beginning of a.
I mean, let's say maybe they do 10 bowls or something in the playoffs. You don't need however many bowls there are, 28, 20, 30 bowls. You don't need all that.
Yeah, but
you don't
10
need-
bowls is 20 teams, right?
Yeah, so the top 20, so the top 25 plus a couple others playing bowl games, make them meaningful somehow. I don't know how.
Isn't that a playoff, bud?
What's that?
Isn't that the playoff?
Well, there goes Nate.
He spent enough time with us. He's done now.
57 minutes, almost hit an hour on the dot. So okay, so the playoff though, you're trying to figure out the best team in college football. Like, I don't think 20 teams need to be involved in that. So, because here's the problem: the more teams you put into the playoff,
But you
The
just
less
said 20
meaningful-
bowls are okay.
bowls. But to actually be the champion, the problem is the more teams you add, the less relevant the regular season becomes on a week to week
Nemi,
basis.
that's just 2 more games than a 16-team playoff.
What are you saying?
You're saying 20 bowls, okay. A 16 game or 6
No, I said 10 bowls, 20 teams.
and
And then the playoff is in addition to. I'm saying like
shortening your
Middle
season.
Tennessee State and New Mexico State don't need to be playing in the
I agree.
in the
But take
Cheez-It Bowl.
16 teams, make them all bowls. I've shortened your season.
Okay, so you're saying only 16 teams need to play in bowls? I was going to say maybe some more than that.
Then
But-
make them 20 for your sake, and we still have a shorter season than 20 bowls and a playoff.
Yeah, maybe just bowls go away altogether.
Exactly.
But I was trying to get the the 10th, the 20th, the 21st ranked team to play in, I guess, hopefully a meaningful game, but I don't know how to make that game meaningful.
I wonder if there was like more of a financial like like with NIL and stuff. Like you get an extra lump sum of NIL money if you win a bowl.
Well, that's what
game.
it used to be before these kids were able to get paid, even though they were always getting paid.
Well,
they
that's
would
what I'm
get-
saying.
They would get Dre Beats and they would get, they would go to these bowl games and they'd get all these gifts because they
make
got
they
a
the
bowl,
money.
you get more NIL cut. That would be, God, that's probably more lucrative than the NFL.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I
I'm
think
just-
you're right. I think that's a great idea.
There has to be an incentive for the bowl game because right now there's no incentive for these guys to play in an extra game that means quote unquote nothing. Where if you make it to where there is some kind of prize, even though it's not a national championship, now the incentive to keep people around and make it an exciting game.
We're not going to school anymore. I'll tell you that.
Didn't Carson Beck already say that? He hasn't gone to class in 2 years.
Yeah,
He
because it's an
graduated.
online graduate program.
Yeah, he's like, I graduated. What are you talking about? I don't go to class.
Yeah, that was the
Brother,
all-time
you
worst
play
way
for a
to phrase that.
university, you moron. Why would you even say that?
Don't say you
I can't
graduated.
believe that didn't. I can't believe that didn't like spark something when he said that.
Because we all know the reality of it.
Yeah, but is it legal? Like, is that? I thought people have to be
Legal.
eligible. You have to be eligible to play.
This is
He's-
the
I thought.
NCAA.
He's pursuing
nothing
a graduate
legal.
degree, Nemi. He was saying he graduated his undergrad 2 years ago, which probably took him 5 or 6 years to complete. Anyway,
Especially with him.
I thought the quote was, "Do you go to class?" And he said, "I haven't gone to class for 2 years. I'm not in college. I'm not in school anymore."
he said, I graduated, and I think the underlying thought was, I'm no longer taking in-seat courses. I'm no longer in an undergraduate degree. I'm in an online graduate program. So I have not.
Okay. I didn't hear that part. I just heard him say, "I haven't gone to class for 2 years. I don't go to school anymore. I just play football." And I was like, "Whoa, how are you eligible then?" Anyway, carry on.
Now, some other interesting news in sports.
Interesting news in
news in
sports.
sports.
Starting in the hockey world, Penn State University men's hockey player and likely number 1 overall NHL draft pick Gavin McKenna supported the fuck around and find out situation last week after knocking out a fellow student who called his mom a whore in a bar. This gentleman waited outside the bar to harass some more, and then he was quickly dispatched. McKenna initially was facing a felony aggravated assault charge. That's potentially a big deal since he's not from the United States of America. But this was later dropped, and misdemeanors still remain.
I don't understand a damn thing you just said. What happened?
After the stadium game, right, where Penn State men's hockey played in the football stadium,
Yep.
Gavin McKenna and his family were out at a bar.
And he plays for what team?
Penn State.
Okay.
At a bar, I think like bar restaurant. They said it was a bar and it seemed weird, but I think it was a bar restaurant. Some just random student, Penn State student, was confirmed, came up and just started harassing them, called his mom a whore. This gentleman was then, get out of the bar, you can leave, and then waited outside for McKenna and his family to come back out, reconfronted the family, said some more choice words about his mother, and then McKenna knocked him out.
Uh-huh.
He was then booked on felony
Who is
aggravated
the
assault.
he?
McKenna, the guy that knocked him out,
Gotcha. Okay.
and some other misdemeanors related, was held in prison, released on bail. But since it was a felony, this was potentially going to be a very big deal because he's from Canada. The felony charge was later dropped. It was a whole big kerfuffle in the world, Jim.
Did he knock out a Canadian?
No, he knocked out an American.
In Canada.
A Penn State. No, this is all in State College, Jim.
Got it. But he's Canadian.
McKenna is Canadian.
Got it.
And the supposed number 1 overall draft pick in the NHL this year.
I mean, he called the guy's mama whore.
I'm okay with it.
There was nobody that I saw that was not in support of what had happened.
Literally, I saw an article. It was like, whatever still recommends picking McKenna number 1 overall draft pick. Yeah, if anything, I want to more because he seems like hockey player type.
All right.
So, am I the only one that saw this?
No,
Yeah,
I
well,
saw it.
You did not, Jim.
I did not.
All right, moving on to some basketball, everyone's favorite sport.
Yep.
Earlier this week, a judge ruled Charles Bediako ineligible from continuing to play for Alabama. He had played 5 games for Bama and had filed a suit which gave him a temporary restraining order on the whole situation against the NCAA after being denied a return to college basketball after spending 3 seasons in the G League.
Doesn't even make sense how that even happens. How is he even allowed? How are you allowed to? Let me see how can I phrase this? How are you allowed to play while there's an investigation like ongoing with if you're allowed to play or not? I understand the judicial rules, but like in this instance, you can't be doing that.
Can't be doing that.
Unless it's ruled that you're allowed to play. Boom, then go ahead and play. But if you're granted a waiver until they review it, no, you cannot play.
Well, and then my question is, if they find out that he's ineligible to play, do they have to like?
No, they don't have to forfeit or anything. No,
That's what's BS. Like, okay, like I'm gonna have LeBron James come back and play, but he's getting, we're just seeing if he had another year of eligibility.
Yeah,
like,
oh wow,
we won all of those games. Like,
yeah, LeBron's coming back, and then the judge is like, no, he's not. We're like, all right, we're found a restraining order until you figure it out, and then what? He's gonna play for 2 weeks until they roll
just get a couple dubs and then he's gone.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Mind you, a lot of the issues on the coach letting that happen.
Right, allowing that to play play out. Yeah, Nate Oates definitely set that up for potential failure there. So definitely interesting to see how that goes down. And I mean, it sets precedent because I think there were many teams exploring what options were available for, especially in the basketball world, anybody that had played overseas and then maybe in the G League post high school. So yeah, I think they just closed the door on all that. The NBA Board of Governors, I believe it's Board of Governors, likely to vote this summer to expand the league by 2 teams. Vegas and Seattle as the favored cities. So get pumped. More NBA teams, everybody, for a league that already seems to be star depleted across the board. Let's bring 2 more teams in. At least
Vegas always gets the expansion teams.
Right. At least they're putting it into the cities that make sense. Whether or not we think we need more teams, that's where we are. Pistons and the Hornets got into a bit of a kerfuffle earlier this week that had multiple players ejected, and later in that game, a coach was ejected. Of the ejected players was Pistons bench player Isaiah Stewart, who faces now a 7-game suspension. He was eligible for up to a 25-game suspension. And this gentleman has a bit of a history dating back to November 2021. He's been involved in 6 separate instances that either resulted in being ejected or suspended for multiple games. Wound up on 7. I thought it was going to be more like 15 or 20.
It should have been way more than that.
Yes.
Guy literally laces up his shoes looking to start a fight. I swear I've even watched it happen.
Yeah.
He's just always mouthing and pushing and doing shit. And he came off the bench to go try to fight. Like, no, dude. Let's go do something else. Go play hockey if you want to fight. And I wouldn't like his chances in a hockey fight.
I don't like anybody's chances in a hockey fight unless you are skilled at being on skates. In other brawl news, we had a high school girls brawl in the Pittsburgh area that made this one look a little bit like nothing, or really any NBA scuffle that I've seen. So anybody can look that up if you want to. Pittsburgh high school.
Was it the one where there was like hair missing?
It got intense. I watched the video without looking for things like that, and it tattered on for a good minute or two.
Did parents get involved, or was it just the players?
Yes, there were parents on the floor. I don't know if I saw any parents fighting, but there are definitely parents on the floor trying to separate.
So I accidentally watched a video of parents fighting at like a youth basketball game a few weeks ago, and now my algorithm is filled with parents fighting at sporting events.
Pretty sad.
It is.
I want to say I'll never do that. But
It's
hey,
also kind of entertaining.
I guess I don't know until I get in the situation.
But I do want to know, Jim Nemi, what would your reactions be if your kids got into a scuffle in their respective sport that became a full-out brawl? What would be your actions?
What does that mean? Like, you're talking about, like, my child fights another child and they're brawling by themselves?
No, this becomes like a full-on benches, or everyone on the team starts to get involved. People start to fill onto the floor, the mat, whatever this may be.
Is it just kids? We got parents there.
Yeah. He's saying parents are also rushing the floor.
Would you get involved?
If parents are rushing the floor, yes, I'm rushing the floor. Yes.
But, like, what does get involved mean? Like, if I see, like, let's take last night, for instance, right? Last night, my kids have a duel. If a fight between the teams break out and both teams are fighting, right? And the kids are just at it, I'm probably going to sit for a minute. If I see parents go down and start grabbing kids, their own kids, I'm going to go grab my kid. If somebody touches my kid that's not a coach from their own team, I'm laying hands.
Yeah, I think that's the only answer.
Like, I'm laying hands. I'm sorry. That's what's happening.
There's the answer. I was just curious. I was curious what it would take to get you physically involved and not just being on the court and watching the kids fight.
It'd be other parents.
Let's just say, for instance, me and Nemi are parents on the same team, right? Obviously, me and Nemi are friends. Nemi beats me to the floor. He's got his kid under an arm, and he snatches Tess up under the other arm.
Mm-hmm.
I got no problem with that. Thanks, Nem. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Me and Nemi are brothers.
Yeah, me and Jim are in agreement with this one. I think it's pretty obvious. If someone else touches your kid and pushes them or throws them or something like that, then it's like, all right, well, why would you do that? I guess we're gonna fight. I'll throw you then. So there you go.
But like,
stuff.
Let's say me and Alex are not friends, and we're on the same team. Alex grabs his kid and grabs Tess to like pick Tess out of the fight. I'm gonna stop for a second and be like, what's Alex's intentions here? Alex doesn't brings me my kid, no problem. Alex starts getting in my kid's face,
Problem.
There's the line. We have found it. From the line and fights to the starting line at Daytona, Jim. What you got?
Yeah. Daytona's this weekend. I just put this in here because it's I'm sure I'll catch somebody's going to cancel me somewhere. But it is rare that Daytona outright sells out.
Mm-hmm.
The grandstands especially. Daytona is sold out. There are limited seat upgrades, so it's not a true blue sellout. But this is, they're expecting over 100,000 people in Daytona, which I only bring this up because it seems that Daytona NASCAR is on the come up again. It's very cyclical. I think the younger drivers are catching some steam. So it's just cool. I like the fact that Daytona is catching popularity. I think this season's still very much convoluted and the point chasing is very convoluted and ebbs and flows, but I like the fact Daytona has popularity.
All right. I will
Also, I believe there's rain in the forecast again. I think Daytona's finished on Mondays like 2 or 3 of the last
All the
5
time.
or something. It's coming again from what
Because they try to force it into that February box, and the winter is still here.
Yeah.
The winter is still here. All right, big news in the wrestling world, Jim. A big duel on Friday.
I am pumped. I don't have a lot of hope, but I'm pumped.
Let's give some predictions. Let's just go matches 1.
Ohio State wins 4 matches.
Confidently 4?
Maybe 4. I'll say 4.
Okay. I'll go Ohio State wins 2.
Which one's Muff?
1? Right? Who's that? Mendez?
Yeah.
And heavyweight.
Okay, I think if those are the 2, that all right. But that's it? Okay. I'm not.
You're looking at pretty much number 1s across the board otherwise, Jim.
Yeah, but it's 1. You got 4-1 versus 2.
That's fine. 1s can win.
Okay.
All right, last up in the golf world. Nemi, I think you had some stake in this one.
Yeah, I try to watch golf every week. Hideki sprayed the golf ball around the golf course off the tee and could not hang on. And there was people like not yelling in his backswing, or maybe it happened once, and then like in the playoff hole, the guy that like a volunteer who helps like dropped a chair in his backswing, so he had to like stop when he was about to swing and like reset up, and then he duck hooked one into the water. It was kind of funny.
Could you imagine being that guy?
Yeah, he was like, I guess he was just like carrying a chair and accidentally dropped it, and Hideki was literally like on his backswing and had to like stop. Mind you, I can't stop. Once I'm going back there, I'm going, but he's able to do it. Anyway, he sprayed his next shot into the water and lost. But Scotty, yeah, terrible round 1, and then kind of inevitable like always. The rest of the round came in like 3rd, I think. Guy doesn't stop. But yeah, so now this week we're at Pebble Beach for the Pro-Am signature event. So 80 people in it, pretty much top 80 players in the world non-live. We'll see.
Did you have any money on Goddard up this week?
Nope, no Goddard up for me. It wasn't a great week. Got 2 outrights this week. I'm going to go with Matt Fitzpatrick and Robert McIntyre.
Bobby Mack.
Little Bobby Mack. Yep, little Bobby Mack.
Is this his first event of the year?
Yeah, well, I think he might have played in January. Yeah, he hasn't been around for a little bit. He had a kid.
I didn't know that.
Guess he's known to get like homesick. He's a big guy that loves his family and loves where he's from in Scotland, so he doesn't really enjoy being in America too much. But anyway, he had a baby, so he hasn't been around. But he's back this week.
All right. As we end this episode, we have a bit of congratulations to offer. Go ahead, Jim.
Hold up.
Go.
T's and P's, James Vanderbeek.
I didn't.
QB in the movie Varsity Blues. I don't want your life. Maybe for me and Muff, but that to me was the football movie of my pubescent years. Whipped cream bikini.
We were introduced to Ali Larder before Landman.
Varsity Blues, man.
T's and P's, R.I.P.
T's and P's. Now go ahead.
Maybe known by Dawson for others.
No, not ruining it for me.
All right, congratulations are in order. Now that the football season has concluded, so has sports stuff, betting stuff in the football world, which means that we officially crown our winner And the best bets, Jim.
Yes.
Damn, we got to pay him up. We got to pay up, huh?
Yeah. time.
Somebody has already done so.
My man Muff.
That's
All
not
right.
been me, but you will get it.
Yep. I'll get you.
My man Muff.
Doesn't Muff need paid for Survivor too?
Jim and I are good.
Okay.
My man Muff.
There'll be I'll hit you guys up in the group. Get some Venmos, you know.
I think I paid Muff at least for Survivor.
But just so you know, Nemi, you will not be able to pay Jim with Venmo.
Someone's gonna have to accept Venmo and pay Jim another way then.
Venmo's
All
the
right.
devil.
There it is. And this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Make sure you get us on the socials. That's Sports Jim Muff and Instagram. Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding, ding.
Get the bell on. Help this rocket ship go up, up, up and away. Even though it's going to be the off season and we're going to have to talk about basketball, baseball, and all the other things we don't like to talk about. But we can still grow if you tell a friend, make a friend, be a friend.